If you think the battle between banks and crypto is a fair fight, you are about to lose the single biggest wealth transfer of our generation.
You see, while you've been systematically told that crypto is a scam, a fraud, and a worthless pet rock, the largest, most powerful financial institutions on Earth have been secretly building the infrastructure to seize control of the entire asset class.
In fact, and this is the part they don't want you to know, while they publicly denounce crypto, Wall Street's biggest players privately admit its victory is inevitable. And they have a 5-part playbook to make sure that when it happens, they own the outcome. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how they plan to execute this takeover, piece by piece, and why the final trigger could be pulled in a matter of months. All right, let's get right into part 1 of their strategy, the calculated hypocrisy that underpins this entire takeover.
So just look at this. This isn't just some difference of opinion. It's a deliberate, calculated deception. To you, on the news, Jamie Dimon calls crypto a fraud. But to his high net worth clients, his own research team is privately calling it the ultimate positive catalyst for the next bull run. It is a classic case of public lies for private buys.
So why the two-faced approach? Well, it's simple market manipulation. They create fear and doubt in public to suppress the price for retail investors. This buys them precious time to accumulate assets on the cheap and build out their infrastructure before the public even knows what's happening.
You know, the mainstream media is part of this misdirection, feeding you the public narrative. If you're relying on them, you're missing the real story. And if you are watching this without a subscription to Crypto Global News, you are absolutely missing the alerts. Click subscribe now to stay on the timeline.
Now for part 2 of the playbook, unleashing Wall Street's invasion through their unmatched distribution networks.
15,000. Let that number sink in. That's the number of financial advisors Morgan Stanley is arming to push spot Bitcoin ETFs. And this isn't just about their high-end clients. Their entire e-trade platform is being primed. We're talking about a fire hose of new capital aimed directly at this market. The key takeaway here is speed and scale. This is not a gradual rollout. No, this is a coordinated shock-and-awe campaign to capture market share. They're flipping the switch from off to on. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Which major bank do you think will be the next to fall in line? Drop your prediction in the community post for this explainer. This brings us to the third and maybe the most critical piece of their playbook, controlling the plumbing of the entire financial system. This is where they move from just participating in the market to becoming the market. And this right here perfectly illustrates their long-term goal. By getting a Federal Reserve master account, crypto-native banks like Kraken Financial gain direct access to the core of the U.S. payment system. They don't need the legacy banks anymore. They can literally bypass the entire cartel and connect straight to the source. They are becoming the new banks. And we're seeing this strategy deployed everywhere. I mean, look at firms like SoFi and MasterCard. They're now using a crypto-native bank, BitGo, to build their own stablecoin settlement networks. The new financial rails are being laid right under our feet. Okay, now we get to the political trigger, the accelerant that could set this whole thing on fire. Part 4, weaponizing geopolitics. In what is a major shift, President Trump has completely reframed the debate around the Clarity Act. He is no longer presenting it as just a financial bill. He's calling it a critical matter of national security, and he's publicly accusing the legacy banks of trying to stall it and push the industry over to China. For our U.S. viewers, this is the single most critical development you need to watch. By framing this as a fight against China, it puts immense bipartisan pressure on lawmakers to pass the bill. It changes the whole conversation from should we to we absolutely must. This all leads to the fifth and final part of their playbook, the endgame, the legislative trigger that unleashes everything they have been building. Remember that internal JP Morgan report from the beginning? This is what they were talking about. They explicitly stated that market structure legislation, which is the Clarity Act, is the one thing that will serve as the ultimate positive catalyst. It is the green light they've been waiting for all this time. So let's run through the takeover checklist one more time. Public misdirection? Check, thanks to JP Morgan. Distribution network ready to fire? Check, courtesy of Morgan Stanley. Core infrastructure built and plugged right into the Fed? Check, with Kraken leading the way. And the political pressure to finally pull the trigger, it's mounting every single day. The only thing left is that final legislative green light.
Things are moving so much faster than most people realize. If you want to get these intel briefings the moment they're available, before they even get posted to YouTube, you need to be in our private Telegram. Scan the QR code on the screen or just hit the link in the description to get that inside access.
So make no mistake about this. This isn't some theory. It is a documented 5-part strategy being executed with military precision by the most powerful financial players in the world. The invasion has begun, and believe me, the next phase will be exponentially faster. So that is the question you really need to be asking yourself right now. What happens to this market when Wall Street's entire financial machine gets the final green light to flood into the space, all at the exact same time? We're about to find out. And they're not stopping here. The next phase of this takeover is already being planned. Their next target is the multi-trillion-dollar stablecoin market. For an inside look at how they plan to dominate stablecoins next, you need to click the video card on your screen right now.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.